this week's Bushel Up, we're going to continue down our list of nutrients. This week we're going to look at magnesium. Like calcium, it's one of our positively charged cations on there. So we're looking at a pretty stable nutrient that's going to bind to our soil particles. Magnesium is very important to chlorophyll production. It's kind of the center of chlorophyll production. So if we see magnesium deficiencies, a lot of times we'll see chlorotic leaves with some some yellowing along the outside edges of the leaves, just affecting that photosynthesis or that chlorophyll production process. So very important. Again, magnesium typically is pretty rich in most of our soils. If you're farming a clay, a silt loam, usually you've got sufficient magnesium levels. It's when we get into our sands, lower CEC soils where we may run into some magnesium deficiencies. And for a lot of the guys I've worked with in the Platte River Valley, maybe we put on products like K-Mag or some Epsom salts to address those lower magnesium levels. One of the things I get a lot of questions about is, can we get dolomitic lime? Well, the issue with dolomitic lime that brings some magnesium with it is just the location of those lime quarries. They're not local, so we're looking at freight. So that becomes a little bit restrictive throughout central Nebraska, western Nebraska, but is another option. Biggest thing we talk about with magnesium is just availability. Because it binds tight to the soil, even though sometimes we have higher levels, we have a hard time getting it in the plant, and that's where we'll look at some base saturations or just what some ratios are in the soil of magnesium to some other nutrients. Where we see some magnesium rear its ugly head in higher mag soils, because it's a very small, it's the smallest of our cations. It can create some compaction layers. High mag soils are susceptible to compaction, issues with water infiltration. So there are some negatives to having high magnesium, and these are two of the main ones that we see. So we got to look at some strategies to manage through that. Just as far as removal, we don't take a lot of magnesium off. That's why we don't see a lot of changes in our magnesium levels in soil. We're looking at 0.03 pounds per bushel of corn, 0.15 pounds per bushel of soybeans. So not removing a lot. That's why typically you see your magnesium levels fairly stable in your soil samples from year to year. Although over a period of time those will change a little bit. So just a few things about magnesium, and we look forward to talking to you next week.